In this video, we're going to find exact values for trig expressions that are using 45-degree angles or pi over 4. I've drawn the reference triangle for you, both in degrees and radians here. So we have a 45, 45, 90 right triangle. The legs of that right triangle, the sides that make up the 90-degree angle, are called the legs. They're congruent, meaning they have the same measure. I'm going to call them 1 for the purpose of our ratios of sides there. And by the Pythagorean theorem, that means that the hypotenuse is going to be the square root of 2, because 1 squared plus 1 squared is going to be x squared. 1 plus 1 is x squared. X squared is 2. So 2 is equal to the square root of x. The hypotenuse is always a positive number. We don't take the negative option there when we find the hypotenuse. I also could have those measurements in radians, and pi over 4 radians is the same as 45 degrees. Pi over 2 radians is the same as 90 degrees, but this is the same special right triangle either way. You may have a triangle that looks like this if you have a trigonometry set that has special right triangles in it. One of them will be an isosceles right triangle. That's a 45, 45, 90. It's isosceles because the legs are congruent. All right, so let's go ahead and let's talk about tangent of pi over 4, tangent of 45 degrees. I've solved it out for you here. Would be opposite over adjacent, would be equal to 1. And the cosecant of 45 degrees would be the reciprocal of the sine. Well, sine would be 1 over the square root of 2. So when I take the reciprocal of that, I would get the square root of 2. Now, we have a function that they're going to call sine of theta, with theta being 45 degrees. So we want to find sine of 45 degrees. We're going to rationalize that answer, and it's going to be square root of 2 over 2. We have a function that we're going to call sine, and we want to square that function. So we want sine squared of 45 degrees. Well, let's take sine of 45 degrees and let's square it. So 1 squared is 1. Square root of 2 squared is 2. So the answer is 1/2. If we're talking about the sine function and we want to find 5 times the sine function for 45 degrees, 5 times, let's use the rationalized form since we're not going to be doing any squaring. 5 times the square root of 2 over 2 is 5 root 2 over 2. Now we want to find 10 times the sine function. So 10 times this sine function. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and I'm left with 5 square roots of 2. And now I want to take sine and divide it by 6. So I want 1/6 of square root of 2 over 2 is going to be the square root of 2 over 12. That's it for this video. We'll come back next time and we'll talk about another special right triangle that's a 30, 60, 90 right triangle, and we'll find exact values using those trig functions.